Dr. Kalmeta, thank you so much for joining me in the LSI studio today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Haven't seen you since London in September. Tell me, what's new with Rapid Nexus?
We are working with our distributor pharmacies and launching into 160 pharmacies nationwide and working on launching in 4,000 more within a few short months as well.
That sounds like great progress in just such a short amount of time. So I applaud the work you guys are doing at Rapid Nexus. What are you specifically focusing your product on? Is it just peripheral neuropathy?
We are doing our clinical trials on diabetic foot neuropathy because the patients that have had successful results that have had diabetes and diabetic neuropathy have told us that they feel their toes again or their feet again. So now it's our intention as we move forward to bring to the market a preventive care for diabetic neuropathy or a preventive care so that the wounds don't open to begin with.
It sounds like it's an extremely complex condition to manage, and it also sounds like there's an unmet need, clearly, because as you mentioned, 200,000 amputations in the diabetic space alone, which is a tragedy. How are you guys going about educating the healthcare systems about this need and how your product addresses it?
We're working with pharmacists to distribute us and also to educate on the product. We are educating the pharmacists, and they in turn are asking us to do webinars for the healthcare community. So we're doing webinars starting this March for the healthcare community, how to use the product.
Education and clinical data is such a pivotal part of bringing a product successfully to market these days. As I mentioned earlier, it does sound like there is a terrible unmet need, and what's being done today is clearly not effective. I believe the research states that of the 15% of diabetics who will go on to develop this diabetic foot neuropathy, 14 to 24% of them then go on to have an amputation. So this product can prevent that completely. Is that correct?
Yes, when we start using this preventively, then we will increase the tissue density and its volume. So a better way to explain this is a new supply of collagen is being put through the skin on a microscopic level. It's non-invasive. It travels through the skin deep into the muscles, and because of the increased voltage flow that this product creates, the collagen appositions itself onto the damaged tissue. As it does so, then the volume increases, the density increases. As the volume increases, the original form gets restored. So form that is damaged is, if you can think of a tent without the spokes and it just falls and folds upon itself, we are uprighting that tent. And therefore, the blood supply is able to function again instead of trying to work itself around all of these twists and turns of this damaged, folded up tissue. So this is what the product does. So very early on, when a patient that has diabetes, when their nerves peripherally stop functioning, then we are able to use this product to increase the voltage flow, lay down new collagen, and increase the volume in order to restore the nerve flow, the circulation. And so the earlier that we get to the patients, the better. This is what our goal will be now in the next year.
What is currently being done today that clearly isn't working very well to manage these chronic wounds? I'm curious, how long does the current standard of care take to work when it works? And how does your technology accelerate that or improve upon it from what's being done today?
Thank you for asking that. There are so many products currently out there right now that address this space. However, the clinical trials were done on a younger population and a healthier population. The products are designed to be placed inside of the wound. However, our products are designed to go the peripheral areas surrounding the wound, where the damage truly lies. If you think about it in this way, if we were to think about a leg in terms of electronics, and if you thought of the surrounding tissue of the light bulbs being turned off and no voltage flowing through there, and if you tried to put in industry products into the damaged hole, then what would happen? Not very much in the population that really needs it, because the light bulbs are turned off surrounding this hole. And what we do is we turn those light bulbs back on so that the voltage flows, so that there is healing, an active healing happening. That's the difference.
I appreciate the metaphors. You're great with them, by the way. Um, how quickly does your product accelerate wound healing compared to what's being done today to manage these chronic wounds?
In this field, we don't have an estimate yet. The reason for that is because we have decided to focus on the worst of the worst cases. So our clinical trials were based on patients that were already diagnosed for amputations or that had non-closing wounds that were infected. And so those are the ones that go into amputations. And so it's very difficult to say how much faster we are, because some patients have had open wounds for 40 years, some for 2 years, some for 8 months, some for 3 months. A chronic wound is a wound that doesn't heal in 8 weeks or more. So currently we don't have a way to estimate that.
That's almost a better answer than what I was hoping to learn about, because you guys are providing hope then to people who have no other option. And that is a truly inspiring thing to hear about. And I'm sure there are many patients who are looking forward to the hope that your product will provide them as it nears commercial approval.
Thank you.
What else are you guys looking at doing once you've brought this product to market? What's sort of the next step for Rapid Nexus?
Thanks for asking that. We're very excited this year to be running clinical trials on neuropathy. Neuropathy is the underlying cause of diabetic foot ulcers. And our patients have said that they feel their feet, that they feel their toes after treatment. So we're very excited to begin these clinical trials and measure the nerve velocity. This is really important for us, and we'll be starting out with a smaller subset of patients, moving into larger clinical trials later on this year. And in this way, we're able to then move into the market based on neuropathy, based on early diagnosis of neuropathy, and being able to provide treatment earlier as opposed to when a wound already opens.
What would you say are some of the biggest challenges in bringing a new product into the pretty established, I'd say, wound management market?
People have stopped by at our table at wound conferences and they've said, "Thank you. We are down in the trenches dealing with these wounds, and these products aren't working." And so it's a tough question to answer, because I really believe that the clinical trials previously that have been done and are ongoingly being done are based on a different population. They're based on a population that can heal. We are here to serve the population that cannot heal. And so we have had a terrific response. We are about to engage in webinars to the healthcare community to teach them how to use the product and to move forward with our education process.
That's great. Maybe shifting gears a little bit, what brings you to LSI this year?
Well, I'm very excited because aside from what we're doing with education, a company like us, we need to raise funds. And so LSI has been able to provide an environment with both innovators, investors, and partnerships, potential partnerships. And so we've had a lot of discussions that are very interesting. As we grow, then we plan on partnering and also taking on investment.
Dr. Kalmeta, thank you so much for coming back to the studio and giving me an update on all things that are new at Rapid Nexus.
Thank you very much for having me. It's my pleasure.